bring Misty Marris in for a quick take on that. And what is your take, Misty? Like I said, it's always fascinating to hear from jurors. This one's skeptical from the start, it turns out.
Absolutely, Connell. Well, as lawyers, we spend the majority of our time as we're going through the trial really trying to get in the minds of the jurors and predicting what they're thinking and how the case is playing out. So hearing from the jurors after trial is always so valuable. And I do think it's interesting. Alex's reporting was so on point that this juror recognized during the trial on that Thursday, when evidence came out before the bullet. Now, this is before the hearing. The jury wasn't there for that, where the case was ultimately dismissed. But the juror soaked that in and said, you know what? This is important and could be a game changer. So very fascinating to get that real-time analysis from the juror.
Oh, it is. The end is dramatic. You see, we all remember that with Baldwin crying in the court, and Alex was in there for that. But it's also interesting that as I said earlier, she was skeptical from the beginning, but she thought it was the armorer that was more to blame, right? Is how she saw it, and that I think I'm paraphrasing here, but that Baldwin was just doing his job. That's how, I wonder if that many people in the jury maybe saw it that way.
Yeah, so think about it, Connell. The opening statements really set the tone for the trial, and that was a large part of the theme for the defense. But keep in mind, sometimes jurors might formulate an opinion early on, but then the trial plays out and it may differ. Then they hear the jury instructions, which come later. And so you never know what way it could turn out, but I really enjoyed Alex's reporting and this particular juror's perception of the trial as it was happening.
No, it's great and detailed and really tells the story. It was a very good job. You know, I'm not going to have you on without talking about Justin Timberlake out in your neck of the woods on a Friday afternoon in the summer. So I'm told there was a hearing today with his DWI case out there. There's the mugshot from Sag Harbor, New York. What's the take here on Timberlake?
Well, today, Sag Harbor was filled with reporters. The streets were actually packed this afternoon when this hearing was taking place. Timberlake was not there. He was actually appearing only by his lawyers as his representatives. But look, his lawyers came in and said, we're going to fight this. He was not intoxicated. Remember, he did not take a chemical test.
Right.
So that means he didn't blow the breathalyzer. He didn't get blood drawn or anything like that. So his attorneys are taking that position. They also made a motion to dismiss based on what's called a defective accusatory instrument, which is a technical defect, meaning that there was a procedural issue. Prosecutors said, listen, there's no prejudice here. The judge is going to hear that motion later and make a decision on that later. So actually, because prosecutors filed a new instrument, a new complaint, he has to be arraigned again on August 2nd. So the streets will be filled again as this case continues to unfold.
Well, tell all those annoying reporters to get out so you can, relax in Sag Harbor, Misty. Read a book this weekend. We need you refreshed.
Well, come on and see us at some point, Connell.
It's
come
beautiful
on down.
out there. Misty Marris with us. Thank you, Misty.